A flash of white light reflected off a soldier's face. Noticing a quick glimmer among a pile of rocks, he curiously stepped forward and picked it up. It was a photograph of a beautiful woman. Assuming it had been dropped by a fellow soldier, he casually slipped it into his pocket. He never imagined that the photo would save his life. Moments later, a stray bullet struck precisely where he had been resting. A few days later, Mike woke up from unconsciousness and learned that he was the only survivor of his unit. A comrade handed him the same photograph, and Mike felt an overwhelming urge to find its owner and express his gratitude. However, after asking around the base for several days, no one claimed it. Left with no other option, he decided to hold on to it for the time being. His fellow soldiers joked that the woman was his guardian angel and urged him to track her down and repay her after he left the military. As it turned out, their words carried an eerie truth. Their armored vehicle was attacked again, yet Mike miraculously survived once more. However, the repeated trauma left him with severe war-induced anxiety. He was discharged early, but civilian life felt foreign. He couldn't adjust. Even a simple wake-up call from his nephew triggered him. He reacted by instinctively grabbing the boy's throat. Realizing this wasn't the life he wanted, Mike decided to search for the woman in the photograph. After scouring the internet for clues, he eventually narrowed down a location. The next day, he packed his things, took his dog, and set out on an uncertain journey. He traveled across mountains, through multiple cities, pushing forward until he finally saw the landmark from the photograph, a towering iron structure. Through tireless inquiries, he learned the woman's name was Annie, and she ran a pet lodge on the outskirts of town. Overcome with anticipation, Mike rushed to find her. The moment he laid eyes on Annie, she seemed like an elegant angel walking toward him. Their first meeting was awkward. Mike, nervous, struggled to explain his reason for coming. But before he could say much, Annie mistook him for someone applying for a job. When she learned he had walked 500 kilometers to get there, her demeanor changed instantly. This wasn't something a normal person would do. Unsure of how to handle the situation, she turned to her grandmother for help, asking her to make up an excuse to send Mike away. Curious, the grandmother instead asked Mike why someone so young would want to work at a pet lodge.
Seems like peaceful work. My last job wasn't.
And just like that, Mike unknowingly landed the job. He even found a small place to rent nearby, determined to stay and watch over his guardian angel.